Dahvie Vanity is a name you more than likely know. He's not only one of the most infamous people in the music scene, but the internet. Today I not only want to give you an update from the time of the allegations to now, but I'm also going to show you some conversations I had with people that still support him. And here's a warning, these people are a handful, to say the least.
You can legally a 16-year-old.
Them, Dahvie is a pedo, blah blah blah. Us, we don't care. Where is he now? Why isn't he locked up? And what the fuck is this picture of him about? Before getting to any of that, I have to scratch the surface on what he allegedly did. Why is he hated? Dahvie has been doing terrible things for a very long time now, and I believe the earliest record is 2007. 14-year-old Diana Farrell called into a Christian radio show, letting them know that 8 days before that phone call, she's been sexually assaulted in her own home. Staff then contacted the police, who showed up to Diana's house. When they arrived, they asked Diana who did this. She admits to it being Dahvie Vanity, 22 years old at the time. How did Dahvie even get there in the first place, and where was Diana's parents? Well, he was a self-proclaimed hairdresser that specialized in scene hair. He contacted Diana and said, "Hey, I want to give you a new look." He then drove to her crib, which was hours away from his. And as he arrives, her mom is leaving. The mother was single and working 2 jobs, hence her leaving the home as Dahvie arrives. And unfortunately, while she's gone, Dahvie forces 14-year-old Diana to give him oral sex. Now, this was the point where this absolute disgusting human being could have been behind bars. He could have been stopped and we wouldn't have to worry about this fucking wildebeest being unchained in this music scene that's filled with children. But unfortunately, the mother tells the police, "You don't have to arrest him. I don't want to press charges as long as he cuts all contact with Diana." That means Dahvie just got away with it. Pretty fucking nasty, isn't it? Well, let me continue to paint a picture of this man for you. 2 years after this incident, in 2009, Blood on the Dance Floor went on tour. During their Denver, Colorado show, the police actually arrested Dahvie on stage. But why is that? Why would they cut this super epic Blood on the Dance Floor set just to arrest poor old Dahvie? Because he allegedly forced himself on some teenage girls. So the other half of Blood on the Dance Floor at the time, Garrett Ecstasy, had to continue to tour without him. Dahvie then uploads a video on him talking about the situation and what really happened, but he took down the video very quickly. I'm pretty sure he took it down because he realized all his lies were extremely obvious. This causes Garrett Ecstasy to not only leave the band, but he spills all the beans on how shitty of a human Dahvie Vanity really is. He mentions how Dahvie never paid Garrett, how Dahvie hangs with young girls, has a record of sexual harassment and hitting girls. He's a liar, steals lyrics, lied about being a hairdresser, he's bald, and lastly, he went psycho and raped someone. Now, I have no idea how this didn't cause a huge hurdle in his career, because he then recruited Javon Monroe and continued Blood on the Dance Floor. They even managed to get Jeffree Star featured on a track, which then blew up the band to extreme levels of popularity. After their blow up, they went on tour and hired a merch girl. This merch girl is Mal Levy. She also had a terrible experience with Dahvie.
And so you connect in Orlando, and how did that first meeting go?
Oh, well, I got out of the car and he immediately started air humping me against my friend's car.
There's an interview she did with Chris Hansen and she mentioned a bunch of shit.
I witnessed him with underage girls and I didn't like it. And he also was bullying me the entire time. I mean, I had walked in on him one night by myself when he was receiving oral from what looked like an underage girl. I can't confirm it, but she looked very young. She looked like 13, 14 years old.
She claims Dahvie was like playing with some girl's huge boobs, and when her age came into question, she said she was 13.
I go and hang out with this person and I'm just in his car, we're talking, hanging out. We're like, oh, we should see if Dahvie wants to come hang. He came over and he had this girl with him and she had this tank top on and her boobs were like about to fall out kind of deal. And he said something along the lines of like, "Oh my God, can you believe how big this girl's tits are?" Or like, something like that. Like, he always was talking about boobs, and then he starts grabbing them with both his hands, shaking them around like, oh. I don't remember if he said this or if I asked. He either said something like, I can't believe her age or something, or I may have asked how old you are, but either way, she said, I'm 13.
Now, the last allegation I'm going to touch on a little bit is the Jesse Slaughter incident. And then we'll go into what he's doing today and why he's not in prison. As for the supporters I hit up, I tried to contact 20 of them. And out of the 20, 5 of them replied. I'll give you guys an update soon. Jesse Slaughter was a 10-year-old girl at the time that attended a Blood on the Dance Floor show before they became popular. This was a private show, more party-esque, and Jesse was chatting with Dahvie before and after his set. Jesse was a little 10-year-old, like, MySpace person that looked up to 24-year-old Dahvie at the time. They had a crush on him and wanted his attention, and that attention they got. Jesse stated that they had to stay at the party a little longer than intended because her parents had car troubles on the way of picking her up. So Jesse was chatting with Dahvie, and unfortunately, one thing led to another. This 10-year-old little ass child allegedly gave this grown 24-year-old man oral sex. Fast forward to 6th grade. Yeah, 6th grade, that's 11 years old. Jesse and a friend got into an argument, so her friend decided to out the relationship between Jesse and Dahvie on Sticky Drama. Sticky Drama is kind of self-explanatory. It's a site you go to for the latest drama that's marketed towards kids and teens. Dahvie then responded poorly, saying he has no idea who Jesse is. Meanwhile, Jesse made this video in retaliation to the people that are talking shit about her and slut-shaming her.
You guys are bitches. You know what? You don't faze me. I'm happy with my life, okay? And if you can't, like, realize that and stop hating, then you know what? I'll pop a Glock in your mouth and make a brain slushy. I'm just a normal girl who's perfect in every way, and you're just jealous. Sticky Drama shit. I'll post some shit in the crotch bar to, a link to the shit that's been happening on Sticky Drama lately, involving me and my homie Dahvie. Some bullshit that's been going on between us, but we got it all settled. My mom been talking to him.
Now imagine being a fan of Blood on the Dance Floor at this time. You're gonna watch this video of this child claiming that she knows Dahvie and they're homies and this, that, and the third, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? She's delusional, she's crazy. No way this child actually hangs out with Dahvie Vanity, right? So I can see why people would just think she's lying, but things get worse. This video fed the trolls and they wanted to ruin this child's life. So people started swatting and doxing Jesse and their family. And I'm sure Blood on the Dance Floor tweeting out their phone number didn't help either. Dahvie sent a massive amount of people to bully and harass the child. I have no idea why he would do this. Maybe to convince everyone like, ha, look at this crazy little girl. I would never hang out with an 11-year-old. But all the harassment spawned this video.
Okay, this is Jesse Slaughter. I just want to tell you guys that you ruined my life. My household has been torn. I haven't been able to eat or sleep or anything. I was just shopping. And if people think I don't know Dahvie, I freaking do know him. My mom has answered the phone for him, okay? And he's been calling.
This is from her father, and I know who it's coming from because I've back traced it. And I know who's emailing and who's doing it, and you've been reported to the cyber police and the state police. So you better write one more thing, or screw with my computer again, you'll be arrested. End of conversation from her father.
This video went extremely viral, causing people to make fun of the family and do parodies of the video, including Blood on the Dance Floor. Now that we know the context and what allegedly happened behind the scenes, it makes this video so disturbing to watch. But no worries, because Dahvie and everyone that made fun of this child is about to look stupid as fuck. Because throughout the years, victims kept coming out with stories against Dahvie. It got so bad by 2017, A bunch of venues completely stopped booking Blood on the Dance Floor because their reputation was so dog shit. In 2018, a now grown Jesse Slaughter came out with their story against Dahvie. And in March of 2020, they got in contact with Chris Hansen and Repzilla and spilled everything in detail. 21 women accused Vanity of sexual assault, child molestation, and rape, with many of the women saying that they were underage at the time. This led to the FBI beginning an investigation into the allegations against Dahvie. It felt like throughout the years, Dahvie's fan base was slowly bleeding away because of all the allegations against him. But the Chris Hansen and Repzilla interviews really put the nail in the coffin for Dahvie's career. People started to notice the weird tendencies Dahvie would do during shows, like hold children's hands. He would go missing with little girls. He asked a crowd full of kids to throw their bras on stage. And not only did Garrett reveal how shitty Dahvie was, but so did Jay after leaving the band, mentioning how Dahvie never really paid Jay, but he did take care of all his bills. Jay caught HIV that was on the brink of AIDS, and Dahvie was seemingly careless about it. And even the third member he recruited, Fallon Vendetta, also came out saying Dahvie was shitty after she left the band. It sounds like Dahvie might be a terrible dude. Who knew? If only we listened back in 2009 when he openly got arrested at the Denver show. There were more than enough opportunities to get this man in prison, but nobody jumped on the opportunity, which led to more people getting hurt. But now it's 2024. So what's going on with the guy? But before that, let me just explain this picture of him real quick. Hopefully you remember Garrett mentioning Dahvie is bald. Here's confirmation that he is bald. But hey man, listen, embrace it. There's nothing wrong with being bald. My stepdad is bald and he's a fucking hunk. But the whole Dahvie being an alleged pedophile thing got so fucking big, ICP is the one that tweeted this photo out. Look at this bitch boy. You can wear any mask you want, Dahvie Vanity, aka Jesus Torres. Juggalos can still detect your pedophile style from a mile away. Clown love to the ninja who puts the snake tongue you see hanging out of the devil's face in a Ziploc bag. ... ICP. I don't know what the last half of that tweet means, but hey, whatever. I think it's kind of hilarious he got exposed in this low resolution photo. It looks like if you gave Pitbull some heavy drugs and your auntie's sunglasses. This isn't Mr. Worldwide, this is Sir City Thick. Anyway, 2024 Dahvie, I promise I'll never make a bad joke again. Blood on the Dance Floor has been taken down from Spotify, but he has solo projects up that Spotify hasn't taken down yet. Projects include Kawaii Monster, The Most Vivid Nightmares, and Sinners Are Winners. He also has a TikTok account that he's not too active in, but the few posts he does have are filled with comments calling him out on his shit. You see comments like Chomo saying he deserves to be locked up, and for some reason he still has supporters, but we'll get to that in 1 second. He also has an Instagram account where it looks like he's more into selling clothes now. He seems to be pretty active on this account. He posts almost daily, he's always posting on his story, and he even regularly does live streams. He mostly just plays acoustic versions of his songs. Speaking of Instagram, he blocked me. Well, why'd he block me? Big Vizzy, what'd I do? Well, let's find out. Also, you should go follow me on Instagram. Go see how pretty I am on there. I'm a catfish. I managed to speak to a handful of people that support Dahvie, and wow, what a wild bunch. I hit up 20 people, 5 replied, and 4 actually engaged in conversation. Now I'm gonna keep their names and shit anonymous because I don't want people to go harass these motherfuckers because that's also bad. Now I hit up everyone the same way. I said, hey, I'm doing a project, can I ask you a question? And then I bluntly ask, why do you support Dahvie? Let's start with the Discord server I found. So this server idolizes Dahvie, and the point of it is they all like his music and think he's attractive. I was able to talk to 2 of the members in DMs. A few interesting things did happen, but they basically said the same thing. They feel like there's too many inconsistencies in the allegations and they don't find the sources credible. Kinda crazy if you ask me. One of them admitted to seeing the photos of Dahvie acting weird with fans. Then they said there's no way to tell the fans' age, but they do seem to be between 16 and 17 years old. Look, dude, I understand. In a lot of states, the age of consent is 16 or 17. So I guess legally you're fine, but morally, you're a fucking cretin, brother. You're a piece of shit. Let's say all of these fans are 17, which I doubt. And let's say in all of these photos, Dahvie is 23, which I doubt. That's still weird. That's still weird. You're fucking weird. But this person entered weird territories and said some pretty disturbing things. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care if they're true or not, implying the allegations. And they also say, I'm envious of those girls. Scrolling through their server, I also found this message from the same user. Them. Dahvie is a pedo. Blah, blah, blah. Us. We don't care. That's pretty gross on its own, but take a look at the follow-up message. Also, for some reason, people don't do their research. I find that hilarious because I asked this person in DMs their opinion on Dahvie taking down that video after the Denver show, the onstage arrest in 2009. Then the person replies to me saying they've never seen the video. Shouldn't you be the one doing the research then? Same thing with person B. I mentioned the very first incident we spoke about, how he went to the girl's house and forced oral on him. There's a police report, I sent it. They said they'll look into it. Brother, how can you have not already looked into one of the nuttiest accusations of the man and sit there and defend him saying you don't think he did anything wrong? Do your research. Goes both ways, you fucking bozos. Instagram was the gold mine of finding interesting characters. The most notable character I found did not reply, but they're definitely worth mentioning because of how interesting their Instagram page is. They've had their Instagram for 2 weeks at the time of this recording, and they have 230 posts. A lot of the posts include playing guitars, talk religion, talk their roommate Paul, and this one is my favorite post. I feel like I can make an entire video on this guy, but I'm gonna stop myself there. I don't want to cross that line and make it seem like I'm bullying him, because I'm not trying to. I actually feel really fucking bad for him. Same thing with this next character I'm about to bring up. I feel really bad for her too. She replied to my initial message and I told her, I noticed you support Dahvie and I was just wondering why. I'm not talking about him. No. Don't take 2 photos of my profile. This is my job. I'm f***ing homeless. I need to eat. This is my job. Like, this is how I f***ing eat. I didn't look too deep in her profile. I literally just clicked follow and message. I guess she does like OnlyFans and stuff, but she blocked me, so now I don't really know. But I replied, I never said I was gonna take photos of your profile, lol. You don't have to talk about him if you don't want to. Thanks for your time. She replies, don't tell me who to talk to. It's a friend of mine. This is my job, PG. How I eat and feed my kid. You need to leave people alone. Then I replied, I never told you not to talk to him, nor have I questioned your job. She says, I'm allowed to be friends with whoever I want. Leave me alone. Go get a hobby. Leave people alone. Troll. I do think her and the next girl I'm gonna bring up is why Dahvie blocked me. I'm pretty sure they reported me to him, even though I didn't do anything. But the next girl says, I'm not going to talk bad about him if that's what you're wanting. Then I said, nah, if you support him, that's your thing, and I'm not going to try to change that, lol. I'm just curious, why? And then she never replied. We now have 2 more characters for you. This is probably the most sane person we got out of the handful of people we've spoken to. Not saying I agree with their take, nor do I commend them for supporting Dahvie. He just seems like a normal dude. But they basically said they separate the art from the artist and don't financially support Dahvie in any way. They don't think he's a great dude, but they do pirate his music and wear secondhand merch. But I do mention how wearing like a blood on the dance floor t-shirt, no matter how you obtained it, you're still a walking billboard for like the project. And then I asked him, do you think there's any action that would be too far and cause you not to listen to the artist? He then replied that he's not too sure. Now for this last guy, he was really stoned and he sent a bunch of voice notes.
Just love the music. Yeah. Great hair and you know, he was the first full-on scene king, you know. If you're gonna be seen, if you're gonna call yourself seen, you cannot discredit Blood on the Dance Floor. No matter, you can hate the motherfucker as much as you want, but you cannot discredit the music and the fashion and the culture. I have never seen any actual evidence. I mean, if there was really 20 plus women, realistically, this motherfucker would definitely already be jailed a long time ago. I think we definitely live in an era where everyone's getting accused of everything, no matter what, you know, it's just the day we live in. The age of consent in most states in the US is 16 years old. So you can legally bang a 16-year-old if you're in one of those states. So maybe bang the 16-year-old in one where it's 17 or something, you know, then sure, he might have something, but whatever. I don't give a. Again, I also love Gigi Allen, bro.
Yeah, but like the biggest story is with Jesse Slaughter, who allegedly gave him head when he was 10, or when she was 10 rather, and he was like 22 or whatever.
From everything I've watched and read regarding the whole thing, pretty sure she has some stuff going on mental illness wise, which, you know, isn't throwing shade. I have a lot. You know, I have a lot of that sort of baggage. A lot of people do. And for some people, it can make you do very crazy things or say very crazy, serious shit, you know, that aren't true. So let's say he was arrested and proven guilty for one thing, again, and I think the max that he could have done was, again, being a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old state. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, if legality, if it's legal, who really cares? I mean, ain't no 16-year-old looking like a 10-year-old, all right?
My question to you, the viewer, is that okay? Let's say I was a fan of Blood on the Dance Floor and I see all these allegations of Dahvie being weird and all this stuff with like minors. I can't listen to the guy's voice and sing along knowing he's an absolute monster, especially this band specifically, because they over sexualize a lot of the lyrics, so it's just disturbing, bro. It's like disturbing as fuck. As for the final question, why is Dahvie not in prison? I'm no lawyer, nor do I know anything about law, but I do have a really good friend that's a paralegal. So I asked her some questions, and this is what I think is going on. As stated earlier, there is a case open on him from 2021, and because there's so many victims, it's likely that prosecutors just need to gather strong evidence to confidently put him behind bars. I think the guys are still investigating. Keep in mind, a one-person allegation takes a very long time, usually like a year. There are 20 plus women that came out against Dahvie, and now the FBI has to investigate each case. Dahvie's a monster, and they don't want to just grab him and arrest him with weak evidence because he could just get a good lawyer and be out the next day. It is lame that he's still on the loose, but hopefully he can get arrested sooner rather than later. Now you have to click right here, because A Day to Remember and Pierce the Veil also have some pretty dark secrets.